I'm back with some updates for you guys. We're gonna talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about the 45th anniversary Black Barbie doll. We're gonna discuss some news on the Barbie Basics 2025 line that's supposed to be coming out this year. And we're gonna go over some information about Aaliyah Barbie that I have newly discovered. So let's just catch up right quick. First, I wanted to address this doll right here, who is the 45th anniversary Black Barbie, designed by Kitty Black Perkins along with Bill Greening. And although this doll is quite nice, very beautiful doll, and I think she's well designed, I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to keep this doll and or to review this doll. And I think I've come to the conclusion that I am going to return this doll. And I'm gonna tell you why. First, I just wanna put it out there. I don't have a problem with this doll per se. It's a nice doll and I don't mind adding it to my collection. But the reason why I've changed my mind about keeping this particular one is after watching some other reviews myself, looking at the doll in box, and I've taken her out of the box, the inserts, I've taken it out to get my hands on the doll to try to look at her up close and see her without the plastic pane in the way. Just a few things, okay? First, in being completely transparent with you guys on this channel, I have said many times since I've been back from my hiatus, I discourage people from purchasing dolls because of hype or because they think they're missing something if they don't have a doll, yet they don't have any connection with that doll. And for me, I feel like this doll is kind of in that category because I respect the history of the Black Barbie collection, how they're paying homage to the initial Black Barbie and Kitty Black Perkins having been the first Black doll designer that was hired by Mattel. That's historic and monumental. At the same time, I don't like this doll enough to warrant keeping her just for the historic labeling on the doll, because obviously they're gonna probably end up making another version of this doll. And I feel like I don't know if I like this doll enough to keep her. First of all, the first one, the 40th anniversary one, I like her so much better. And I just love the Selma face sculpt in general. And I like the way that they designed that doll, where the coloring that they used for the dress was very similar to what the original doll had, which is red and gold. And with this doll, I don't see that. There's not enough sparkles in the dress. This one you can't see here in this box, but I'll try to find a better picture for you guys. But the doll's dress was very shimmery, and there's actually a Fashionistas doll that has a shiny dress that's more similar to this than what this doll is wearing. And also you can see that she's got this gold color on the dress, which is just an iconic part of this dress. And there's no gold embellishments on this doll's dress on the 45th anniversary version, which really irks me, because I feel like if it's supposed to be part of a collection that's paying homage to that doll, I want to see as much reminders of that doll as possible. Because if I have a whole collection of these dolls, I want them to match. If it's the only one in the collection that I have, I want it to stand alone and be recognizable as something that's supposed to be a tribute to that line, if you know what I'm saying. So I just feel like design-wise, they kind of missed some opportunities with this doll. Maybe a gold choker necklace or something like that. Maybe it would feel less like that, but it's just not enough gold embellishments for my taste for it to be the anniversary Black Barbie doll. When I look at this doll's face, to me, it just feels very bland. I feel like they could have done better with this face, because this face sculpt is fierce. It's just one of those sculpts. If you're looking for a face to put on a collector level kind of doll, absolutely, this is one of them for a Black doll. But it just feels so bland. Her eyes are really big and wide, and I don't know, I just feel like it's a missed opportunity in some ways with this doll. I don't know, that's just my opinion. And I know when I take her out of this box, I'm definitely gonna have to customize her. And right now, thanks to the Maeve Reilly doll, I am not in the mood to be customizing these dolls like that. I need a break. So ultimately, I don't really like the clothes that she comes with enough for me to keep it in my collection long term. And the doll itself, I know I'm gonna have to put her onto a new body. And that's another thing too about this body, you guys. When Kitty Black Perkins did the first Black Barbie ever, her body type was slightly different than the Barbies that were available at the time, she on purpose made sure that the doll had a little bit bigger dimensions. She wanted her to feel like a thicky to represent Black women who tend to have those kinds of body types. So I wanted to see that reflected in this doll's body too. I mean, I know it's a model muse and they only make them certain dimensions. They're very skinny, but we do have the Music Muse body now, which is slightly wider and more voluptuous, and I feel like that would have been a better choice for this doll's body type if it had to be on a stiff body anyway, which I don't like stiff bodies, but if you have to have a stiff body because that's just what this line calls for, can I get a Music Muse body? Why couldn't we do that? I don't know. I just feel like she's so skinny. Another thing I noticed is that she's very similar to this doll, which was already produced by the Looks line, which I bought for only like $25 compared to the $35 price point of this other doll that has no joints. She's just so similar. Like, I'm just gonna end up swapping her onto this body and it's gonna look like it's the same doll but with curly hair kind of and less makeup. I don't know, just something about that like kind of doesn't sit right with me. If I didn't already have the Barbie Looks Simone in my collection, like the head, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. I would feel like it's a little bit of a switch up or a variety or something I don't really have, because I do have another Simone who's in a different skin tone, of course, and she's very different from that one. But with this one, they're like basically twins. One has curly hair and plainer makeup, and that's pretty much it. Even their skin tones are exactly the same. So for a skin tone match, that's awesome, but I feel like I could just curl this doll's hair and get the same effect as the Black Barbie doll and put her in a red dress, because apparently as long as it's red, that's all that matters. I don't have to worry about the gold embellishments to get the same effect. If that's the case, then why did I spend $35 on this doll that essentially I already have in my collection? You know, it's like the same thing with how people feel about the Chase Midge doll right now, where they're like, I already have a bunch of Life in the Dream House Midge dolls. Like, why do I want to add this one? Or I have the Barbie Rewind Midge doll. How is she any different? So some people feel like it's just too close, so they don't need to go chasing after that doll to feel like they're like completing their collection in some way. It's kind of like that for me with this doll right now. And to be honest, she's still in the box because I'm saving her as a body donor, but I already have two of these loose who are twin characters. And so I don't really need a third one who looks exactly like them, except for the face up is slightly different and that the makeup is different, you know? So I don't know. I just feel like these dolls are a little bit prettier in my taste, for my taste, than this one is. She's just so plain and boring looking that I just feel like I'd have to do so much to make her come to life to fit in with my collection. So I've decided I'm just gonna return her. I got her at Target, so I don't have to go through the nonsense with Mattel. Thank the Lord that I don't have to deal with Mattel to return this doll. Although, don't be like me and lose your receipt, because I don't know where the hell I put it. But I heard if you bought it with like a credit card or a debit card, they can look up the receipt for you, hopefully. So I think I got her from my local Target. I'm gonna go back there and see if they can look up my receipt for me. But otherwise, I guess I'll just have to settle for, I don't know, just store credit, whatever. I don't mind. But honestly, I prefer to have the Super Bowl dolls that are coming up on Sunday. They're gonna finally decide which doll they're going to produce, because the game should be over and then they'll know which doll is gonna end up getting produced. So once that all settles itself down, then we should have about a week's window to pre-order the Super Bowl doll. My preference is to do that instead, because I know those dolls I'm not gonna regret getting. Hopefully they don't have wonky eyes, but they're not going to be produced until September, and you have to order them basically before the ordering window closes this month in order to secure yours. So I don't want to deal with Mattel. You guys, I'm literally traumatized by the Maeve Reilly doll experience, honestly. So that's her back here behind me with the blonde hair. Go check out my restyling video of her if you want to see what I did to her to customize her. But the first doll that I ordered came along with my Aaliyah doll in that shipment, and not only did it take forever to get to me, but she came with a wonky eye. So I had to like fight with Mattel to make them approve a return for her. And then I reordered a new one, which is this one, so that I could do my review for you guys. It took so long for the doll to get to me. It kept getting delayed, thank you FedEx. And then when they finally dropped the doll off, like, this is what they did with my doll. They just threw it in the middle of my porch instead of leaving it nice and neat on my deck. Like, well, who does that? You already late to begin with, and you can't leave my package with some respect at my doorstep? What is going on? This is a picture of the box on my floor in my kitchen, but I wanted you guys to see the way they left it. Like, this is how they left it, but on my porch. So imagine that the picture is it out on my porch. That's how it looked when I went out onto my porch. It's in the middle of the floor. Like, what? Oh my God. Such a nightmare dealing with Mattel. Anyways, yeah, I blame Mattel. I always blame Mattel. They got issues. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on my feelings towards this doll, just to be very honest with you. If I was reviewing this doll, these are all things that I would have said about the doll in my review, just for me to be like, I don't really know if I want to keep this doll. So I figured, let me just get it out of the way so that you guys understand where I'm coming from and why I'm not going to be reviewing this doll, at least not anytime soon. Maybe later down the line after Black History Month, when I anticipate this doll will probably be on sale. Maybe I'll get her then and then go through the whole process. Then, of course, by that time, everybody will have the doll already, but that's not the point. Because the fun in the doll for me is restyling the doll. I don't like to keep my dolls as is, the way they come in the box. So that's what I really like to show in my reviews and restyles of the dolls, is like the different things you can do with it besides just keep her the way that she comes in the box, you know? And also, I get very detailed with my reviews, so sometimes people might be like on the sidelines about adding a doll to their collection until they hear what I say about the doll, and then that will help them to make a final decision on whether they want to add a doll or not. If you're not one of these people who get caught up in the hype and you feel like you have to buy the doll right now because everybody's like screaming about the doll. Now let's go on to the next topic. Ooh, so juicy, which is about the Barbie Basics 2025 line. We have some new pictures that have surfaced. I want to talk about that. I want to show you guys what I found out and some information about where you can find these dolls, because they have been released. So not only did we see some new eBay listings that showed better pictures of these dolls, but we also have some Redditors who have been sharing information about these dolls and actually have these dolls in their possession. You can see from the photos that there's definitely a new neck knob mechanism that appears different in the shape than what we normally see with the dolls. It doesn't have that like base peg thing at the bottom, the disc-like peg. It doesn't have that part. And according to the person who now owns these dolls, they said that the head is way easier to take off and doesn't need to be heated, because that was my question. It's one thing for it to be easy to pull off, but does that mean I still have to heat the doll's head first to soften it before I pull it off? Because you know, the disc part, the round part, that you have to pull over and around the little hole in the head. So I thought, does that mean that we're gonna have to still like heat it to get it off? But according to this person, you don't have to do it like that. You can just pull the doll's head off and it's fine. They also said that it's secure. When the doll's head is on the neck, it doesn't wobble, it doesn't move around. It's very secure and steady. This is great news. So we have a better look at Kit as well. Based on the pictures I'm seeing, I'm noticing that her hairstyle is not quite like how she looks in the promo pictures. In fact, she reminds me a little bit of the Maeve Reilly doll's hair after I took all the gel out and washed it, as you guys saw in my restyling part of the video. Yeah, her hair was a little bit of a mess. And so this doll's hairstyle just really reminds me of how her hair is, which for me is a little disappointing, because if you look at the pictures, you can see that it's in like a nice curled bob. But the doll out of the box don't look nothing like that, the way the hair is styled. So that's a little misleading, Mattel. Because that hairstyle is so similar to this one, I'm a little frightened that I'm gonna have the same problem with that hair that I had with this one. If you watched my review, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I really don't feel like chopping that girl's hair off because it looks like a decent length. I would like to be able to style it at that length, but for her, it was just so awkward. I'm not sure what to think of that until I get my hands on the doll. I really won't know for sure. But what do you guys think about that? Especially if you've seen my review of Maeve, what do you guys think about this hairstyle? In the pictures that I'm seeing with the Redditor who posted her doll like out of the box, you know, it's so refreshing to be able to see the dolls in person than just like in their boxes. It looked like her hair just looked so unkempt. And I don't know if they just took the picture that way because they were rushing, or if it was because the doll's hair was hard to style. but I don't want to deal with it, okay? And Kit is definitely one of the ones from this line that I absolutely want to add to my collection because I only have one Kit. And my Kit, I ended up having to give her a different hairstyle because I didn't like her pixie haircut. But it's a fragile hairstyle. You feel me? It's a partial reroot. And the other part of her hair I glued on thanks to one of you guys who gave me the idea to do that. So I don't mess with her hair too much, you know? I do like the way it looks long. So I ain't about to do all of that with this Kit. So I'm just concerned that the hair is gonna make me just like wanna rage quit collecting dolls. But if you're wondering, this is what I ended up doing with the Maeve Reilly doll. I did cut her hair and all of the gel is out of her hair, and this hair behaves very well. I was really surprised. I cut it a little bit shorter than when I filmed for the restyling video, and I haven't had any problems with it since. When I brush this hair into place, it just stays like that as long as I don't mess around with it too much. It's just very, very easy to deal with. It behaves well at this length. When it was longer, it was a nightmare. The hair would just keep like rubbing up against her clothes and stuff and the collar of her clothes and flying all over the place. And it was just like, ugh. And I couldn't tie it in a ponytail. I couldn't really style it because it was too short to tie up properly, but also too long to say that it was a short hairstyle. So I just end up chopping it off. I like the way that it behaves. I like the way it sits on her head. It's very easy to work with at this stage, and it's good saran material that the hair is made out of. So hopefully the Kit doll's hair can be salvaged. I'm willing to do this if I have to, just so that the doll's hair acts right, but I just don't want to have to do that. You know what I mean? Oh, Maeve, why did you traumatize me? I want to love you. But speaking of Kit, I did notice that in the pictures you can clearly see that her dress is very baggy. Like it's just not fitted. And I don't know how I feel about that. It looks like in the pictures that she is an original height doll. I don't know what the vision is with that dress. A lot of the people in that Reddit thread were complaining about the clothes on the doll, saying that they just looked very blasé. The honesty of doll collectors. Yeah, I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, this is supposed to be a very basic line, so I'm not complaining too much about the clothes, at least not in this first wave. I feel like the doll clothes will probably get better with future waves just because they'll have more feedback from us about how we feel about the dolls. And I'm sure they hear our complaints when we say that we want the doll's clothes to be more fitted and yada yada yada. But I don't mind it because I know I can get so much use out of those pieces. Even the t-shirt dress, I would like rock that dress on like a doll, like maybe a curvy doll with some leggings and throw on some different accessories with it and really like switch it up, maybe put a jacket over it. I can do a lot with a plain piece like that, and I don't have enough plain pieces in my collection to begin with, so I'm okay with it. Not to mention with those plain pieces, you can paint on them, you can add different like transfers on them, graphics, so you can really like change up the way the doll's clothes look. And with those long sweater dresses, you can cut them so that they're shorter if you want and like cut the sleeves off. You can do some customizing to those pieces and make them look different from one another, even if you have a lot of them in your collection. So I honestly don't have a problem with really any of their clothes, but I'm just telling you what I heard, okay? So we do now have confirmation that the Leia sculpt with the red hair, model number 4, she is definitely a petite. I thought so when I looked at the pictures because of the hand mold, but the person who owns this doll verified that it is a petite sized doll. And no, she's not a curvy petite. I don't even know if that exists. Everybody keeps saying like curvy petite. Like what is that? What is a curvy petite? I've never even seen anything that fits this description, so I don't know why we keep saying this, but she's just a regular petite. When I look at her dress, that thing look loose as hell, okay? Now the way you can tell if a doll is petite in the box is if you look at the picture, you can see that the top of her head versus the top of the box, there's a lot of space in between the two, so that's how you can usually tell when the doll is a petite doll, even if it doesn't say so on the box. And also the hand mold is a little bit different than the real flat mold that they use for regular made to move original size bodies. So this is how you can tell. Okay, so let's talk about model number 3, Claudette sculpt. And she appears to be tall because when I look at the pictures of her in the box, you can see that the top of her head is very close to the top of the box, and at the same time her legs are bent in there. From these better pictures, my point of view is that her hair texture, I think it's like regular good saran, the kind that doesn't get like tangled and you can just brush it out easily. Although because it's curly hair, I don't suggest that if you get this doll that you try to actually brush through the hair. But her hair texture looks a lot like this one to me, but just in the bright red burgundy type of color. So yeah, the last thing you want to do with curls is to brush through it. But I'm saying if you needed to, like this is the kind of nice saran tangle-free hair that you can just brush through if you really want. So I'm wondering what the length would be if you did like a length check. If you stretch the hair, how long would that hair be if you wanted to like straighten it? Just from the way it looks in the box, I think it might have a little bit of length there. So you could probably like switch that hairstyle up, braid it up, straighten it, and do some customizing to the doll, which is exciting. As far as skin tone, I don't know. Does she look as dark as these dolls in these pictures? Because I hope it's not the same skin tone as this. We already have a tall made to move body in this exact skin tone. So we don't really need another one. I mean, I guess if you missed on the Barbie Luxe version, you could still use that one as a body donor for these darker dolls because they're so hard to find donors for through Mattel. But I'm just like, you know, give me something a little bit different just because it's a tall and we already have a tall. If we had this body color in like a curvy or something or petite, that would be fun. But just because she's another tall one, I'm like, can we get a different skin tone, please? So when I look at the pictures, I don't know for sure. To me, she doesn't look as dark as them. I think she's like maybe 1 or 2 shades lighter. But then I'm thinking like, well, then what dolls do match that skin tone if she's not as dark as these guys, you know? Because she does look very dark. These are just questions that are popping up in my head as I look at these dolls. But unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture of her out of the box that anybody owns. So we don't know. And when you look at her clothes, her dress also does not look very fitted, at least not in the box. For her to be a tall Barbie, I see some space down where like her waistline is. So that's a little concerning, but again, I can work with it. So I'm not really complaining about that. I'm just making an observation. Now, when I look at the model number 2, which is the Carl sculpt, I am noticing that for her, she's the only one of the dolls so far that I see close up or better pictures of where her dress seems a little bit more fitted than the others. So that's a good sign. And her dress seems a little bit more like fancier looking than the other ones. It's not quite as plain because it has those cutouts on the side. We do have some pictures of her live, if you want to call it that. But in the picture, her clothes are changed and you can see that she is also an original body type and height. I'm loving the platinum hair. Like that's probably my favorite thing about this doll. Yes, she does look like a duplicate of the Tooth Fairy doll that a lot of people were very disappointed with or missed out on because they didn't want to pay that high price for the polypropylene hair. That Tooth Fairy doll was another one that I had purchased and did a review on, and then I ended up just boxing her up and taking her back to the store because the hair quality was trash. So that was disappointing. I got to hold her for like a whole 5 minutes and then I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I had to take her back. But thankfully, I feel like I can relive that moment and actually be able to keep the doll in my collection with this version because I love the Carl head sculpt, but I'm also very picky about which ones I want to add to my collection. Sometimes they give me that blank stare feel, and sometimes they feel like they've got attitude and personality. So like, it just depends. But so far in my collection, I think I have maybe like 3 or 4 active Carl sculpts that I consider a part of my collection and not like a body donor or just an extra head floating around. I definitely didn't want to keep the head for the model number, I don't know what number she is, but the Barbie Luxe version, yeah, I wasn't really feeling her like that. I didn't like her better than the Pool Chic version that I have in my collection, who's like a brown-skinned Carl. So she just ended up being a body donor, but with this one, I really love that platinum hair, man. I'm trying to get my hands on her, you know what I'm saying? Now, I do see a lot of people on and off Reddit critiquing how plain the boxes of these dolls look. They especially are comparing them to the original Barbie Basics line of dolls that had very sleek designs for the boxes and they were nice to display next to each other in box. I get it. But at the same time, I just want people to understand, not everybody collects their dolls in box. Like, I respect the in-box doll collectors who like to keep their dolls that way and display them as is. But this particular line, I don't believe is meant for that. They made them with the heads removable and plain clothes that are supposed to be, you know, interchangeable, and you can accessorize the clothes to like really make them stand out. The purpose of these dolls is supposed to be for you to play around with their fashions and to restyle them. I can't really be mad at Mattel for not focusing too much on the box design, because that's not really the point of the dolls, especially when you know that they're made to move bodies. They're made to move. They're supposed to be posed. They're supposed to be taken out of the box. That's the purpose of this line. So people who are getting like really hung up about the box design, I'm like, bruh, like I don't even know why you're sweating it. On the box, like right on the top of the box, is a picture of how the head mechanism pulls off. Nothing about that is aesthetic in my mind. Like, there's nothing about these boxes to me that says inbox collector friendly. You know what I mean? So that's just not the purpose of these dolls. And you gotta respect that as much as we have to respect that some dolls are meant to be kept in the box, like my Dia de los Muertos dolls back here. They're designed in a way that you're supposed to keep them in the box if you choose to do that. Same with this doll. The box design is made like this so that you can keep your doll in the box and get a nice display out of her. And you gotta respect that, you know? Just because I don't like to keep my dolls in a box, I can't shame Mattel because they made the box design like this with the purpose of the doll just being a mannequin inside the box. I don't think that this is a reason why people should stay away from this line or complain about the box design, because it's not meant for you to do the same type of inbox displaying that you're doing with more higher end collectible kind of dolls. And I get where they're coming from, but it's like, you know, this is not exactly the same as the past Barbie Basics line, though we want to compare them because they have the same names, but this is more like the Barbie Looks line masquerading as the Barbie Basics line, you feel me? And on that same note, I mean, the dolls do come with stands on the inside, so again, they're meant to take out of the boxes, you guys. Another critique I'm seeing is that people are really upset that there are no males in this line. With the original Barbie Basics, there weren't males in every collection with that line either. Depending on what the theme of the collection was, they added some males to it. I don't know if that's what they're doing with this one, where like the theme is little black dress. Like, if that's what they're doing, then obviously they're not gonna have a bunch of boys in there. As much as Barbie be acting like they don't know how to make masculine looking clothes for the boys. I'm surprised they don't. I'm surprised they didn't put a guy in a dress and just add him to the line, but who knows, they're so unpredictable. Let's wait and see if in the future waves we don't see some males, but I feel like we're gonna probably end up seeing some males, and the reason why we're not right now is because they're like testing the line just to see where it's gonna go, and it's just so much easier to sell the female dolls than the male dolls, so Mattel likes to tell themselves. So that could be why we're not seeing any males right now. It's only speculation, but don't be surprised if you do see them later on down the line. Okay, here's a big thing. We haven't seen any pictures of in-box or out-of-box the model number 5 doll, which is still a mystery. So many people are saying that this is a Heidi sculpt, and the problem with Heidi, Victoria, and even Lena at times, their face sculpt is very like vague. It's just, they don't really have distinctive features, so it's hard to tell them apart from one another. They almost look interchangeable depending on how the doll is styled. We'll see. You guys tell me in the comments which sculpt you guys think that she is. Just when I do side-by-side pictures, it's hard to tell because the box picture is not really clear in HD. And the last thing I found out about these dolls is that these versions that we're looking at pictures of that are owned by this Redditor are released over in Thailand, and we do know that Mattel has like factories over in Asia, so sometimes they'll release dolls sooner in Asia than they do here. Sometimes they release them in Europe faster than they do here. I don't know why, I have no idea, but they do it, and it's just weird to me because people from those countries, they can't even like access the dolls on Mattel's website. A lot of them cannot get shipping from America to their countries, but then the dolls get released sooner in their countries at times, so it's very confusing. I don't really understand Mattel's like business model. It's just I I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. But whatever, it's like, why do you guys bother having release dates for things when you completely bypass them and release the dolls in other countries sooner than you do here? I'm not saying they shouldn't release them there at all. I'm just saying, why do they release them so much faster in these other countries, but then be like, it's a release date? Like they kind of did the same thing with this 45th anniversary doll, where they were launching it on their website on a certain dates, but like Target stores already had them on their shelves way sooner than that. So like, what in the world? Whatever, Mattel. I can't sit here and try to like figure Mattel out, because I'll get a headache. Last but not least, let's talk about the Aaliyah doll. Let me tell you what I found out about this one, okay? Firstly of all, Barbie social media accounts, they sure enough is radio silent about this doll and any news on restocking her or re-releasing her. I have a mind to just call up Mattel and like question them to see what they gonna say, but I kind of feel like they're gonna end up wasting my time, and I don't feel like being on hold long. So my laziness is the only reason why I haven't done it yet. But out of curiosity, I might still try it. If I do, I'll make you guys a video update and let you know what I found out. But I just feel like Aaliyah is like a touchy subject over at Mattel right now, and all of their workers have been trained to play dumb if people call asking about her, you know? But what I did do was I stalked all of the different accounts that Mattel has. There's a Mattel account on Instagram, there's a Barbie Style account, a Barbie account, and a Mattel Toys, I think, account. On all of those accounts, I left messages saying, that's weird. Y'all sure is quiet about these Aaliyah dolls that were supposed to be released to the public. Where they at? What's going on? I know they're not gonna answer me, but I don't care. I don't care. I just want them to know that I know. I know, Mattel. I know. And I know you know that I know. That's right. I just felt like I should let you know. But the good news is I found some people over on Reddit who were able to get a hold of this doll post February 1st. Remember I told you guys my prediction was that the dolls were going to start showing up in stores throughout the month of February, which in America is Black History Month. And because they're pushing this doll as a Black History Month special doll, I figured that you were probably going to end up seeing them in Target stores throughout the month. So I do see some confirmation that people have been able to find the doll after they had already sold out on the 26th. And no, they're not like stocking the shelves fully with the dolls, but there's any. The trick is to go on your apps on the Target.com website and look for the doll, not in stock online, but click the tab that says in stores, right? Like pickup only kind of choice. And once you do that, it should give you some numbers of dolls that may be in stock in your area. And when you find that they have any in stock, go to the store in person and ask people who work there to help you find the doll. There should be a display in the store that is for Black History Month. The one in my local store showed up in the apparel section where the ladies' clothing are, but it could be in a different part of the store, or you might have a store where they don't have a Black History Month display at all. So in which case you want to go over to the Barbie section and look around in toys. You know, you got to use your common sense and literally do some hunting. You know, some dolls are very easy to find, some dolls you have to hunt for them, but this is one of those dolls, at least for the time being. And if you look in Target's ad circulars, you can now see that there are pictures of her on their circulars advertising this doll as part of the Black History Month inventory. Even though you might not be able to order her online, I'm saying this is why you need to go into the stores and look around for the doll. Ask the workers to go look for her in the back room. If they give you an attitude, go find another worker. Just because it's not somebody who works in toys or works in that department doesn't mean that they can't help you. They all have a handheld device that they can use to scan barcodes and find you the dolls or find you the items you're looking for. So please don't waste your opportunity to ask the workers for help. If one person is not helping you, trust me, just go on to the next person and ask them for help, or ask them for a manager. Managers don't like being bothered. The workers usually don't want to have problems with their managers. They're going to try to help you. And if a manager does end up showing up, they're going to go out of their way to help you because they don't want to hear you guys complaining to them about stuff. Just make sure you're not being rude and snippy with the workers there. I'm just sharing this to say, guys, because there are stores that are popping up now with the dolls in small quantities, not a whole shelf stocked full of them, but because they are showing up, I really discourage you guys from going to eBay and paying poacher prices for this doll. Not yet. Wait until the end of February when Black History Month is over and you have no other like outlet, then maybe you can go to eBay and buy them. But I promise you, they're not gonna hike the prices up even higher. It's gonna stay around the same amount, or it'll come down if the stores are starting to stock the dolls, you know? So use that as leverage and just wait it out. Be patient. Don't be afraid to call up your stores and ask them to check. But honestly, I don't really trust customer service desk checking these dolls for you, because they would be looking it up in their computer system, which may not have the same information as the handheld has that can tell you what's in stock in the back room. So sometimes those two systems don't communicate very well, and it's better to have someone on the floor physically go and check the spot where the doll's supposed to be, or to scan a barcode for you. So there are people who have posted the barcode online. If you want to take a screenshot of that and go take that to your local store, if you go to electronics department, which is usually near toys, someone can just scan it for you there and let you know if they have the doll in the back room, anywhere in the store. If somebody has a handheld device, they can look this up for you. Now, the reason why I think that they're not flooding the shelves with these dolls is because Mattel likes to tell this strange narrative that black dolls don't sell as well as the blonde hair, blue-eyed Barbie. And in order to make that narrative stick, sometimes they manipulate the situation and make it look like the dolls don't sell. If they only give a small amount of inventory to the store at a time, it's more of a guarantee that all of those dolls will fly off the shelves, because they're making this feeling of scarcity that isn't real. Like, it's a black label doll. There's no quantity cap on how many they produced. How you sold out already? Get the hell out of here. Like, most of us collectors don't even have this doll, so what are you talking about? That don't make no kind of sense, and they're a business at the end of the day. They trying to make their money. How's that gonna look if they flood the shelves full of these dolls and they're flying off the shelves in real time? Like, it's gonna look crazy. Their narrative would not stick, you know? So they give the stores a little by little by little, 3 here, 4 here every week, right? Let them restock, sell those dolls out so that they can be guaranteed that they get rid of these dolls during February, when they feel like the marketing for these black dolls is gonna be a lot better than any other time of the year. And then after that, if there are dolls left, which there probably will be, then all of a sudden they're like available all over the place. It's gonna look like a bunch of backstock. It's gonna look like, you know, the dolls didn't sell good enough. That's why there's so many leftovers. Or they're gonna be like, oh, we re-released it due to public demand. Look at how great we are. We listen to our customers. It's like mind games that they're trying to play with us to create a narrative around these dolls, you know? I'm speculating, of course. I told you guys, me and my wild theories. I'm a conspiracy theorist, okay? If I see something that looks sus, I'm gonna say it looks sus. And this looks sus to me. This is not the first time that Mattel has done something like this. Many of you guys in the comments revealed to me that the same kind of thing happened with the Mariah Carey doll. I never got that doll. I don't want that doll. So she wasn't really on my radar, but you guys are telling me this is not the first time Mattel has done something like this. And I believe you. I don't have no reason to think the masses of you guys are lying. Why would you need to do that? If they've done it before with other dolls, why would they not be doing it with this doll, you know? Mattel is how Mattel is, okay? We all know this. However, this is good news for those of us who are in the United States market, because that just means that maybe not only will we see these dolls on the shelves eventually in mass, and maybe even be able to order them on Target's website, but who knows? Maybe she'll even come down in price and it'll go on sale, and you might end up getting her for even cheaper than the people who actually bought her on time like I did. Let's stay positive when it comes to this Aaliyah thing. Any other news I hear about her, any more relevant information that I find out about this doll, you better believe it, I'm gonna come over here and tell you guys about it. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, and you are paying attention to my uploads. Also, look at my community posts. It doesn't say community anymore. When did they change this? It just says posts. What is going on? Am I in a different dimension? Sometimes I feel like I slid into a different alternate dimension, and I'm just having my own weird memories of things that nobody else is. What is happening? I feel like I'm stuck in a Mandela effect by myself. But yeah, if you go to my post section on my channel, I do every so often update you guys with little tidbits of information and what's going on with the channel and things I'm finding out in doll world. Make sure you go over there and check out the post as well. Sometimes I give you guys polls because I have questions for y'all, and I really love to get you guys' feedback. Shout out to everybody who leaves me the long comments. Like, you guys apologize all the time. We're like, I'm so sorry my comment is long, but please don't. I like reading the long comments. Like, the people who come to my channel regularly and leave comments, I like feeling familiar with y'all, because then it's it's like easier for me to know who I'm talking to when I make these videos, because I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to like a generic audience, I guess. I don't mind the long comments. Please leave them. Thank you also to all the people who left me condolences messages that heard me talking about the loss of my baby in September. I'm still recuperating like mentally and physically from that, and I really appreciate you guys who are leaving me very sweet comments, and even some of your own stories that are similar to what I went through. That's like a breath of fresh air to know I'm not like in this by myself and I'm just having all these weird crazy feelings and thoughts that I don't know how to process. And some of you guys left me really nice messages when I was telling you how sick I was and I couldn't like finish my restyle review video of Aaliyah that I was working on, but I did finish it, so that's the next thing I'm going to be working on. I'm editing that. In the meantime, I just wanted to update you guys on all this information that I have for you today. So stay tuned for the detailed review and restyle session of Aaliyah coming up. There's so much stuff that I had to talk to you guys about in that video, and it turned out so fun. So like, I can't wait to put that one up because I think we're all gonna have a good time with that one. The vibe I'm trying to create with a lot of my upcoming videos is just like a chill session, like something you guys can watch while you're cooking or folding laundry or playing with your own dolls, and not necessarily like actively watching, but just listening to me talk and relax. That's something I like to do. Sometimes I just like listen to a person's voice and like taking a nap, like drift off into sleep. Then I'll go back later and rewind it and then watch the rest of it if I miss something. But that's kind of what I'm going for with some of my newer videos. So this is why they're a little bit longer in length. My style is a little bit different than how I normally do things when I'm just like, yay, blah, 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 and I'm like really high energy, but I'm kind of bringing that down a little bit with these newer videos. So I just want to like let you guys know like the behind the scenes of like where my head is at when I'm creating the videos for y'all. And that's about it. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section about the things that we went over. Do you have the Black Barbie 45th anniversary doll? Do you think I'm like getting a little carried away with my reasonings for sending this doll back to the store? Should I just keep her? Like, what do you guys think? Are you planning to order the Super Bowl dolls that are supposed to be finalized as far as which versions we're gonna get, like which uniforms we're gonna get on Sunday, I believe? What do you guys think about these Barbie Basics dolls and the pictures that leaked on Reddit? Are they everything you thought they were? Or are you like cornball? Like, what do you think? I really want to try out some different outfits on these dolls to kind of go along with the more neutral styles that I'm trying to do with my dolls now. So I'm excited to see them up close. And as soon as I find out more information about those dolls and possible release timeframes, I'll be sure to update you guys here as well. And of course, what do you guys think about the prospect of the Aaliyah doll coming to a Target near you soon enough? Are you just over it at this point and you're like, I don't got time for this. This doll is stressing me out too much. It's not worth it. Or are you like, no, I'm gonna try my very best to get my hands on this doll. If I miss it, I miss it, but I'm gonna try and get it. Where are you at exactly? Leave it in the comment section. If you were able to acquire this doll post February the 1st, then let us know. When did you get your doll and how did you go about finding her so that other people can strategize how they can get their hands on this doll as well, inspired by your comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Gypsy, you're not, and this is Broken Dolly TV. We're gonna be back at it very soon, but until then, have a dolly day.